is going to invest the sound barrier. This is the momentum that Triumph has been looking for ever since our first round of our first map, Sanctuary. They're finding it here on Numbani, and this is exactly what Samito needed to do. 3 kills for Triumph Gaming. He's also going to have the meteor strike for the next engage.
Today's video is a video I've been thinking about making for a long time, and I've talked about it a ton because I've had so many people ask me, Sam, like, why don't you play Doomfist anymore? I started watching you in 2019, 2020 when you were uploading videos farming J3's Doomfist or killing streamers with reaction. Your Doomfist montages were crazy. I watched you because of Doomfist, and I still like your channel, but what happened to the Doomfist gameplay? I want to see you play Doomfist, and I just want to talk about why I stopped playing Doomfist in Overwatch 2, but in order to do that, I need to fully explain what got me into Doomfist and why I fell in love with the character in Overwatch 1. And before I get into anything here, I just want to preface this by saying this is my subjective view of why I enjoyed the character. People can still enjoy Doom. You can still get value on Doom. Doomfist being bad is not why you are hard stuck in Diamond. I just don't think the hero is worth putting in the work for, considering the amount of reward you get. So I'll break that down in today's video, but before we get into that, be sure to go subscribe to the new channel where I upload all my Overwatch gameplay. This channel is going to become a lot more about discussion videos, and Sammy 2 is going to become where I upload all my big games, which are some crazy pop-off moments. That's going to be run by Coach Mills, who I'm sure you guys have seen his YouTube channel in the Overwatch section. This helps me balance out my time between Overwatch and Mindplex, and this is the best way I can make it work going forward. So thank you guys so much. Please go sub to that channel. I really appreciate it. But let's talk about Doomfist today and why I don't really play him as much anymore in Overwatch 2 compared to Overwatch 1. So I want to preface this by talking about why I love Doomfist in Overwatch 1. So I used to be a big Doom player, right? I used to make all those videos on Doomfist. I was coming off of my contender season in 2019. We were playing XL2 in the playoffs to go to Gauntlet, and we ended up losing 3-0 that game. And at the very end of the game, I quick swapped to Doomfist, and I was like, man, I love this character. This next offseason, I need to focus on expanding my hero pool outside of kind of Brig, Hanzo, and Torbjorn, which were the kind of main heroes I had to play in GOATs. And I want to learn Doomfist because he's a great pocket pick and he's a great projectile character, and he really took Genji's spot in the game as being the powerful flanker in the projectile role, not to mention the fun custom lobbies and Doom parkour he used to have. So what made me fall in love with Doomfist was it felt like he was the only DPS in that flanker role, especially a hero that I had to learn, that actually had the power to punish the broken OP supports that Blizzard had continuously put in the game. When Overwatch 1 first came out, I fell in love with Genji and Hanzo. They were my two favorite heroes. I played a lot of Hanzo, but mostly I played Genji because I love the feel of going in and out of fights really, really fast, trying to secure quick kills, dueling supports, and it felt really, really fair. Until they added Moira and Brig into the game, and I felt like no matter how good I was at Genji, players could pick Brig and Moira, put in a quarter of the effort that I did on Genji, and get double to triple the reward. So at that point, I didn't feel like Genji was a product, you know, because he's a hero in a video game. At the end of the day, it is a product. I don't feel like Genji was a product, or I didn't feel like, rather, it was a product worth putting effort into. But Doomfist, that wasn't true for, because you could actually pierce through some of the OP immorts in the game. You could actually uppercut a BAP out of Immortality Field and have a quick second to kill him, right? You could punch Brig and one-shot her if she did not have her stun. And now, I do admit the one-shot mechanic was gimmicky, but you know what? So are Brig and Moira and BAP. All the immos in the game are super gimmicky. So it was nice to have a hero in the DPS category that could actually punish these players who it didn't really feel like they were putting in as much effort as me, but when I saw them make a mistake, I could actually pounce on that player and kill them. He was the ultimate noob stomper, and the higher up you got in the ranks in team play, you saw Chipsa talk about this a lot, he actually didn't get that much playtime, especially in Overwatch League. So he was kind of just a ranked pub stomper, and that made him so much fun because there were so many different play styles for him, as well as a really high skill ceiling of risk to reward. You had guys like Quake, who did a ton of the rollout stuff on Doomfist. That wasn't really my style, though. I kind of applied my game knowledge to Doomfist instead of learning the specifics and techs of Doomfist. I said, how can I take Doomfist as a character and puppet master the game to my advantage by taking isolated duels on the side? If I saw and recognized somebody split for their team, I would immediately pounce on that target and go kill them on the off angle before their off tank could actually recognize it and make the play to go deny that kill. And that was all Doomfist was about. He was so so much fun, and I loved that mind game that you could play on Doomfist against other DPS heroes. It was very unique, and it gave him an identity in the game that was super thrilling to play. He felt equal in power level to these supports, and Overwatch 2, Doomfist is completely different from that. It's just completely changed. You know, you just can't power through the supports anymore. But that wasn't always true. So let's break down Overwatch 2 Doomfist and the different stages of him. Starting in Beta 1, Doomfist felt great. He had some cool techs like Stair Slam. His slam slowed. It was super, super powerful, and he was actually able to secure a lot of kills. I think on screen right now, I'm probably going to play some of Hawk's gameplay where he's literally playing against the best players in the world in the alpha and just absolutely dominating. I think it took some time for people to adjust to this new Doomfist, and maybe he was a little too powerful, but you know, people needed some time to learn. I remember in my version of the closed alpha I played with streamers, everyone was talking about how OP Doomfist was. I think that was for a couple reasons. One, the Band-Aid got ripped off the support players. You actually had to play the game as a support. And I remember giving the developers this feedback saying, hey, support's not actually bad, the players are. And people were pretty mad at me for saying that. But you know what? I stand by that statement. People have not adjusted into how to play support properly in Overwatch 2, because for the first time, probably in 3 or 4 years, you actually had to position well and execute on support at an equal level to the other roles. Now, some things changed, like the support passive got buffed. You saw new heroes get introduced. Brig got some big buffs, but for the most part, Doom was able to excel. However, he continuously got nerfed after this point. His punch cooldown got increased by 1 second from 3 to 4. The knockback is reduced in this game, especially on tanks for displacement because of the tank passive. Empowered punch ceiling got nerfed for the duration that players were stunned, so your window to actually secure the kills with the shotgun after the fact is much more limited, and immortality abilities got better and better and better, and the ult never kills anything, right? In the beta, Kiriko wasn't a hero, right? She couldn't TP through walls and cleanse and Suzu everybody, denying your entire engage, and also denying your ability to generate shields off of those targets, and God forbid you're punching a target while it gets Suzu'd, you'll end up going straight through that target and it's being stalled in the middle of their team, and you just die, right? It was not a very fun experience. Then Lifeweaver came out with his life grip. Healing got easier and easier, and well, tanking in Overwatch 2 just isn't very fun and rewarding and goes against the identity of Doomfist for the casual player. And let me explain that, right? He's a solo tank in a game where tanking is miserable. Not to mention, Doom's a super high-risk, high-reward character. If you make one single mistake as this character, your teammates are going to flame you because you die, they won't have a tank, and then you get steamrolled. He's not an approachable character in this game, and that really, I don't want to say it's because of his design necessarily. It's just how tanking is in the game nowadays, where Doom has one of the highest skill floors in the game. You see Flats talk about this all the time on Group Up podcasts. I've brought this up as well. He's a very, very difficult hero, where in Overwatch 1, it was all about going in and inting for value. However, in Overwatch 2, it's completely changed, and I almost want to say his design is flawed because it goes against the impression the character gives. In the same way that Brigitte, the proper way to play Brigitte, and you can see this in my Brigitte guide that did very, very well, and read the comments where people were like, holy cow, I never understood how to play this character because I didn't see Inspire. I took your tips and I climbed 3 ranks immediately, right? Doomfist is the same way, where as Brig, you think you want to be in the fight, but actually you want to be back. Doomfist has changed from having to actually go in and commit on kills and maybe securing them to existing and slam cycling in the right spot, and most importantly, not dying and forcing these support abilities instead of securing kills.
Where's the fucker at? I don't know where he is. Oh my god. Oh, wow, beautiful. Beautiful. That has beauty. Oh, they have window up there now. Oh, this guy's not killable either. Oh. Oh, wow. They've really created something beautiful, haven't they?
That's not fun for me personally, and I don't like that as a dude. That's not why I fell in love with Doomfist. I fell in love with Doomfist because he was the only hero in the DPS role that actually let me punish support players who were playing overpowered characters with immortality abilities. But now, the responsibility is on me to sometimes not only force out one of those abilities, but both if they play Lifeweaver Kiriko, or if they play BAP Kiriko, or BAP Lifeweaver. The healing abilities have all gotten insanely strong since then, and Doomfist doesn't have the strength to actually pierce through those. And if I make a single mistake committing on one of these, Well, the fight's over. My whole team and the whole lobby has seen me die first, most likely, because I have to initiate on these abilities to force them. And then I get flamed, and frankly, it's so much easier to just pick Junker Queen, pick Roadhog, pick Sigma, pick Orisa, idle on the point as a brawler tank, which is really the most one-dimensional, easy, brain-dead way to play tank in this game, and sit there and shoot at these cooldowns and force them out, while Orisa right now is the flavor of the month tank with 0 fall-off damage, who can do it better at no risk, sitting in the back of the map, spamming at a BAP or a Life Weaver across the map. That's not worth my time. It's actually the exact same reason why I quit Genji in Overwatch 1, in that why would I invest all this time and energy and effort into a character where I have to put in 5 times the amount of effort to get maybe a quarter of the reward, and if I make one mistake, my teammates are flaming me and it's not worth playing the character. To put it simply, that's not a product that's worth investing time into, and I recognize this frustration when I hit rank 30-something on Doomfist on tank in Season 2. It was miserable. It was one of the most frustrating experiences that I've had playing Overwatch. And you know what? I'm just not mentally going to put myself through that. It's not worth the time or the effort. And that's the big problem that Doomfist has right now, particularly with supports and immos being so strong. Say you even see an isolated target off to the side, not only do you probably not have the strength to go get that kill, but supports can put in 0 effort, press 1 or 2 buttons, and completely not only deny your value, but also get you killed for committing on that target. That's not fun. That's not the Doomfist that I fell in love with. And I actually don't think it's his design. I think if it was 6v6 or open queue, you could exist and make more mistakes as Doomfist and commit on more kills and have a much more diverse gameplay loop that actually rewards the high skill ceiling play a lot more, rather than being brain dead and just kind of praying that your supports pick the right characters. Because not to mention, if you don't have an Ana or powerful healers, or you have like Mercy Moira as Doomfist, just go ahead and chalk the game, because you're never going to get the resources you need to properly force their cooldowns, and then you won't have an opportunity to actually get a kill. That's just not a hero that's worth investing the time into. So to conclude this video, guys, the main reason why I don't play Doomfist anymore is that he has had the exact same thing happen to him as Genji did in Overwatch 1, where the amount of effort that you need to put in to maximize this character far exceeds the amount of reward that you get. So it's just not a product that's worth putting your time into. Not to mention, Doomfist is without a doubt the buggiest hero in the game, right? Sometimes you could do everything right on Doomfist, and you just happen to get hit with one of his plethora of bugs, which Quake, I asked him about this, and he just has the list ready. It's just, you know, that doesn't happen all the time, but there's, you know, just the thought of it potentially happening just ruins the experience for you. You know you should have gotten rewarded for something and you didn't. That's just so frustrating, and it just further cements Doomfist as the high skill character, right? With the low reward values, which is the most infuriating type of character to play in a video game. Even better than that is actually the heroes that are low skill but high reward, because at least at that point you're not putting in a whole lot of effort, but you still get the reward. So as a player, it can feel good. Now, I don't condone those types of heroes, but those heroes feel better than a hero like Doomfist, where it's super high skill and you just get little reward. That's kind of the theme of most of this video. I asked Quake for the bug list of Doomfist and all the Doom bugs, and he sent me a list of all the techs Doom had in the beta. He had more techs than ever before in beta 1 that are gone now, and all of these long list of bugs that, according to Quake, the developers have not addressed, which they have a lot going on. I'm not saying the devs need to fix every single Doom bug. That's not the point of this video, right? The point of the video is me explaining to you all why I don't play Doomfist anymore, and that's just another thing, another the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will. And obviously you're seeing some clips right now of sliders and funny moments and things, and there's one of me raging I'll play at the end of this before we go to the next section to give you guys a good chuckle. But it's just infuriating to be putting all these hours into this character where you don't get reward, even if you're playing perfectly. Bugs, even if you play it perfectly. It's the same problem that Overwatch 1 Genji had, where like it just seems like the game has outdated the character, and it was time for me to move on. You know, if you're a casual Doom player, I'm sure you could still play it and have fun, but just for me personally, there are more appealing characters in every role, and playing tank in general is just kind of miserable in this game. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Doomfist, guys. I'm just going to try to keep it brief here to summarize and recap this. You don't get as much reward as you used to for being a good player. Solo tanking is super, super miserable, right? You as Doomfist now have to go up against double the immortality abilities by yourself to force them, so you're not really actually going to be able to get a ton of value in this game. And if you look at the frequency as to when they're coming up, the supports are smart, especially at high level play where I personally play. Like, it's really easy for them to not stack their support MOs at one time and just layer them out so they'll have one for each of my cooldown cycles. And then generally the game's now on my DPS, but I thought in Overwatch 2 players were supposed to have more player agency. It's almost like if you add immortality abilities that override everything, you actually have less player agency. So I'd just ask the devs, which one is it, guys, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll keep it as brief as possible. It's not that I hate Doomfist anymore. It's just that he's not really worth sinking that time into. And I've just decided to stop doing that. I feel like he doesn't have much of an identity anymore in the game that feels rewarding to play. So yeah, that's it for me. That's why I don't play Doomfist anymore. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all you guys, and I will see you all next time. Be sure to leave some comments down below about what you think. Do you still play Doomfist? Do you like him? I don't know. All right, guys. Take care. See you later. Peace. And also, sub to the new channel, Sammy2, and sub to this one if you haven't. Peace out.